Hi, Hoka, it's Nikki with Iñupiat. So I wanted to make this video, finally home, somewhat rested. So last month I had the privilege of going to Kalaallit Nunaat, Greenland, and I wanted to show you just how close we are. We're obviously far in proximity, but if you look at the circumpolar region, Greenland is basically on the other side of Alaska. And there are so many similarities amongst all of the Inuit indigenous communities in the circumpolar regions. And it was so apparent when I was in Kalaallit Nunaat that how similar we are. When I was walking around, there were so many Kalaallit. We say Iñupiat, they say Kalaallit. And so there were so many that looked like relatives from where I'm from. And it was almost like I would look at people and I would think they look like they're from upriver, they look like they're from the coast, they look like they're from the interior, they look like they're from northern region. And so it was just kind of like, it was really comforting and I felt like I was home. Our language, we speak Yupik, and up north they speak Inuktitut, and then up in the northern territories in Canada they speak Inuktitut, and then in Greenland they speak Kalaallisut, which they're all very similar. Kalaallisut is more similar to Inuktitut, and then Inuktitut is more similar to Iñupiat. And then Iñupiat is similar to Yupik and Jupik. And so it was just neat to hear the language. Almost everybody speaks their language. They speak Kalaallisut. Their traditional regalia, their traditional clothing, it's a Kalaallisut, and it is, I'll have to share a picture of it and show you, but it's just beautiful. In the stores, you can go and purchase muktuk, reindeer, tutu. You can purchase ukuk, seal oil, dried cod, and so I'll have to share a video of that. It was just really neat to see how you can just go to the store and purchase that. Here in Alaska, we're not able to go to the stores and purchase muktuk, or we're not able to purchase seal oil or reindeer, like just in the store. And so that was really neat to see. When I was in Nuuk, it was very native, but also it was like very European. Things were expensive, and a lot of people there spoke Danish. So Greenland is run by the Danish government. They have been colonized much longer than the region that I'm from. And so there's a lot of things in Kalaallit Nunaat that the people, the locals, the First Peoples, have had a tumultuous relationship with the government. And just recently, there was the articles that came out about how the IUDs were placed in Greenlandic women without their consent, starting in the 1960s until I believe it was like 1991. There's also, I don't know what it's called, but it's an FKU testing where they have been removing Greenlandic babies from their mothers because of this testing and placing them in non-Greenlandic homes. And so there's just a lot of hurt. And while I was there, there was actually a baby that was removed from her mother. And just, it's 2025. Like, I don't understand how this is happening. It's just crazy to me that the government can justify as to why they believe they need to be removing these babies from these homes, when there's really no need for that. And it was heartbreaking. Like, so, but my time in Greenland, I was there for 9 days. Getting to Greenland, it took me a whole day. I left Monday evening from Anchorage, and I flew down to Chicago, and then from Chicago over to Newark, and then Newark to Nuuk. So there's a direct flight between Nuuk and Newark with United Airlines. I think this was their first season of it. Otherwise, I would have had to go probably from Anchorage down to Seattle, and then Seattle over to Reykjavik, or over to Iceland, and then Iceland over. Another route is going over to Copenhagen, and then Copenhagen to Greenland. In Kalaallit Nunaat, the place names, the I don't know what you want to call it, the communities, they're all in their traditional language, which is really awesome. And then just being around everybody, and hearing the language and hearing everyone speak it was so empowering and just so amazing. And I guess I had learned that everyone speaks their language, so that, when the colonizers came in, the churches came in, they learned the language. And so that is why the language is so strong there, because the people that came in to colonize them, to assimilate them, them meaning the Kalaallit, the locals, Greenlandics, the first people there, they learned the language so that they could assimilate them. And it's such a common thing amongst Indigenous communities, amongst Inuit communities, that our cultures have been, our cultures were so strong at some point, and we're getting strong. In a lot of places, it's very strong. But a lot of people came in, Westerners, outsiders, colonizers came in, and they were the ones that were saying, your language is wrong, your culture is wrong, your children need to learn English. And for my region, for my people, for my community, with my grandparents, their first names were their Yupik names. And when the churches came in, they started naming them. And before all of that, my grandparents lived off the land, and we spoke our language, and we followed the seasons. We were not in one place at one time. There's a book that I was gifted. She had traveled from Greenland all the way up through and all the way to Alaska. And there's a not monument, I don't know what you want to call it, but there is this beautiful piece of artwork down in front of Nuuk, down by the water. And I'll share more about that. I haven't read the book yet. I've just been traveling so much. But before outsiders came into our communities, we had our own systems. We had been living off the land for generations, for centuries, making our clothing from the animals, and so we had our own spirituality. We had our own quote unquote religions. In our Yupik culture, it's Shamyo. Shamyo is everything within the universe. And so, it's just incredible to just see and to be able to be in those spaces, and to be able to travel, and to just see how similar we are, and how similar our stories are, and how many are learning to reclaim who they are and where they come from, because growing up, I remember wanting to be white. I didn't want to be Native. And so I struggled with identity and who I was. And so I wanted to make this video just because and I'll share so much more. Like there's so much, it was just so incredible and so beautiful. And I'm just so thankful that I had the opportunity. And I'm thankful that my mom fear and my mom guilt didn't get in the way of like traveling. But I just wanted to show you just like how we're so far apart, but we're so close, in the sense that our cultures and everything and identity and language and family systems are so similar. It's like they're our distant cousins. So anyways, this is a longer video. Please correct me if I said anything that was not true. I got cut off there. So just please correct me if anything is untrue. I'm still learning. And I have so much more to learn. But I just wanted to share how, even though Kalaallit Nunaat is so far from Alaska, we're so close. And it's like there are distant relatives, and just because there's so many similarities among the circumpolar region, with just everything. So, so anyways, Goyana, Chuck Norris, have a beautiful day.